Hey y'all, got a question for you. Is it welt or is it piping? It's a question that's as old as time itself. No, it's not. There is a difference, and we're going to talk about that, but I'm going to show you how you can make this using some stuff that you've probably already got laying around the house. If not, if you're like me, I live right across the street from a hardware store. I can just run over there and get some more. But I want to show you how you can make it on the Vevor. And I know that I've got some other machines that I've gotten in lately, but I've also had some people comment that, oh, you can't do that on a Vevor. It's just a Vevor. No. So let's get started. Okay, to get us started, let's go ahead and get the definitions out of the way. Welt is usually like 5/32 to a 1/4 inch, kind of like this, and it's covered in fabric, of course. And it is usually used in upholstery of furniture. You can also use it for, anything from a chair, wingback chair, to a sofa, to a pad that you're making. You can use it in some marine applications. You can make, did I say pillows? Sofa pillows, stuff like that. Piping is usually smaller diameter, and generally piping will be found on clothing or bags, purses, stuff like that you're making, duffel bags. And I'm going to show you on a duffel bag what I'm talking about on there. But piping can also be made without a filler, and it's called flat piping. And really all it is a piece of fabric that's just folded over that you've sewn into your seam allowance. And it's purely decorative, which is what piping is. It's usually just a decorative feature. On a bag, it actually has some structural qualities to it to make that bag really keep its shape, or a duffel bag make it keep its shape. So that is the difference between welt and piping. And I looked on a pair of old work boots that I have. Welt was around the bottom of the upper where it meets the sole. It was bigger, and that is usually called welt. Piping would be what goes up the top part of the boot, up the side. This smaller part, I'm using this. It's clothesline, 5/32, 100 feet of this, and you can see here it's just coated cable. It's actually hollow, but it's just a plastic hollow tubing. And I got this 100 feet of it for less than $10. So that makes this less than 10 cents a foot. That's not going to break anybody's bank. This, however, I made sure to keep this label to show you. It is cotton sash cord. It's a 1/4 inch, 50 feet, and I think I got this for about 10 bucks. but that was at an expensive hardware store. You can probably find it cheaper. For you people that are younger that don't know what a sash cord is, way back in the day when we had wooden frame windows, there was a length of this that would run up the side of the window around a pulley and down, and it was tied to a big giant lead weight. And that lead weight, when you raise the window, would make this cord go up, and it would drop that lead weight, and it would make opening and closing the window effortless. But the reason why I like this sash cord is, I don't know if you can see, but it's really tightly wound, and it's cotton, and it's full. It's actually wrapped around a core, so it won't squish. If you use like 1/4-inch clothesline or 1/4-inch rope or 1/4-inch paracord or anything like that, it's going to be squishy, and it's going to make wrapping this with fabric much harder. I didn't get this tight enough, so we're gonna try it again. And this is the piece that I did with the plastic clothesline cord. Man, that looks great. So there's two ways to do this. If you remember my video where I talked about industrial feet, so you have this thing called a P69, and it can come in a RH or a LH. The P69 just means it's a piping foot or a welting foot or something like that. Now, if you see these two, they are two different sizes. This is a 3/16 in a RH, which means that the groove that cord goes in is on the right-hand side of the needle. This is a 1/4-inch LH, P69 LH, which means that the groove for the cording is on the left-hand side of the needle. I think this LH, 1/4-inch LH, is what I used for this one. Okay, you can see it goes down that mighty nicely. This one, the 3/16, was, I probably could have done it with that. It's a little bigger than it needs to be. So if you don't have piping feet, you can get just a P36. P36 is your zipper feet, and it'll come in a set. This is the L N, which means narrow, but it's the L. And there will be one over here, if you buy it in a set, that'll be the R. The P36R will be on this side, and then just the P36 will be the one that's in the center, and that guy lives over here next to me, because I actually use this for more than just zippers. But if you can see here, let me see if I can get this stood up. Well, I can't get that to stay. But this is the L, the P36L, the P36, and then you'll have a P36R for right side. But what I did for this one is I just used my zipper foot, and I just made sure that I kept this pushed up against the foot. And if you can see here, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, that stitch just went right down the side, and it did perfect. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so this is pretty coiled up. What you want to try to do is stretch this out make it nice and straight. It's a little easier to work with. And then, so I've cut a strip 1.5 inches wide, and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold it over right in half. Now, getting this started might be a little cumbersome, but I've just got it folded over right in half, and you can use your foot to help you keep it in place. All right, so when you lower that down, see what it did? This material is smashed down and kept right up against what we're going to use for our piping. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a couple of stitches. Okay, and that just kind of keeps it in place for us. Now, you want to go slow. You're not trying to get this whole thing done at one time. If you're in a hurry because you're hungry, just stop and go eat a hot dog. All right. So you just want to go a couple inches at a time, and then stop and get your fabric all mashed up in there. And for this, I'm using a stitch length of 2.5. Doesn't really matter. Okay, while I was doing that, I kept pulling on this to make it tight, and I've pulled the end of it all the way through. So let me find my end. There it is. So I can just cut that right there. All right, so as you can see here on this end profile, that cord that we used, this is the clothesline, the plastic clothesline, and we got the fabric wrapped around there pretty nice. Now what you can do, so that you don't do what I just did and keep pulling this out, take your strip that you have, 1.5 inches, you can put a strip of double-sided tape, or you can spray it with a light dusting of some spray glue. You know, just something to keep it in there and steady. So now we have a piece of nice looking piping. And again, I'm going to call it piping because of the size. Now, this is just some cotton canvas, and I've got some more cotton canvas here, and I just want to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go right here to the edge, and this is another opportunity to get a stitch up along there to make that tight. I think I got my top thread all tangled up in my project. No, I didn't. All right, so we got that done. Now we can take our other panel, lay it on top, put it right back in the same spot as the other one, and you can use pins, clips, whatever you got. Now, this is where a piping foot would come in handy. Again, this is the 1/4 inch, but it makes it real easy to find that piping and go along. But since I'm not using one and I'm using this zipper foot, I'm going to have to do that manually. And I'm just going to push it right up against my foot. Make sure it's in there. I'm going to hold this tight. And when you're doing this part of it, you want to go slow. Just do a couple inches at a time. And use a finger to push this up against the foot while you use your other hand to hold it back here at the end. And stop every once in a while, check it, make sure it's still going good. And let's see what we got. Look at that. That's pretty dang cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop this off. That's the zipper foot, and I am going to use this right here. This is your P69 LH 1/4 inch foot. I'm going to pop that on, and we're going to do one using this. Okay, so I'm going to take my strip, and again, this is 1.5 inches, and I'm going to pull off a piece of this rope. I want a little extra on both ends. And again, this product is just cotton sash cord, and it's 1/4 inch, 50 feet. I got it for less than $10, and that's at my expensive hardware store. I love those people over there, but sometimes they just drive me crazy with their prices. And then usually if I need 4 of something, like some nuts or bolts, or 4 hinges, they'll have 3. Go figure. All right, so we're just going to lay that right in the middle. And if you want, you can take a pin or something and make a mark down the center. Oh, came out. Now if you want to, let's do that. Let's just put a stitch right across this top. That's just to keep that still so I won't pull it through when I'm keeping this tight. All right. So we're just going to come here, we're going to fold that in half. And that should give you enough seam allowance to sew it in. That actually comes to, that's a 1/2 inch seam allowance right there after we sew this up. That's pretty nice. All right, so we're going to take this, we're going to lay it in here. Now this time what we do is we put the cord in this groove that's in the bottom of your foot. Hopefully you don't have grooves in your feet. If so, you need to go see a podiatrist. But all right, so the only problem with this, with using one of these, if you don't watch out and if you try to go too fast, this is going to try to sew through the cord instead of on the edge of it where we want it. And so you don't want to accidentally start moving this way. You want to try to keep it over here on this side of the needle so that doesn't happen. And again, just go slow. What's that saying? Slow and steady wins the race, or something like that. Okay, there we have it. That is a 1/4 inch welt. And I'll tell you what we can do. Let's deconstruct this. We'll do like the restaurants do and serve it deconstructed. All these restaurants trying to be fancy and serve you a deconstructed peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right, so we'll take this. We'll put it, this would be the right side of your material. And again, we're just going to shoot that right into that groove. I didn't really cut this fabric straight, did I? Yeah, that's better. Much better. I'm really digging this blue, gray, and red. Has kind of a nautical theme to it. All right, so there you go. And that would be perfect size to go around a pillow that you're making. And then using 2 different colors like this red and gray and the blue, we'll make that pillow reversible. Okay, now I know we can't physically see our welt, but the foot does. The foot sees it. It knows where it's at. So we're going to do it like that. And let's see what we got. Beautiful. That looks awesome. And like I said, that would be perfect for a pillow. And it's soft enough that you can make turns with it. Okay, without it looking bad. Okay, well there you go. Super simple, super cheap. Now I want to caveat this by saying there's nothing wrong with buying actual welt. That comes in foam, it comes in polyester, it'll come in, which polyester is what you would want to use on a boat, but for upholstery it really doesn't matter. They have some that's made out of twisted jute. And all of those are just fantastic products, and I'm not trying to say don't go buy them, but if you're sitting around and you have a bag that you're making and you suddenly decide that you want to put some piping in it, there's your options where you don't have to wait for a delivery. But I want to show you This is a duffel bag that I made, and it comes from my favorite pattern maker, Sewing Projects, and his patterns are super nice, easy, and cheap. You can usually buy the pattern online. It is at Etsy store for less than $3 and download it right away. So I'm going to leave a link to his YouTube channel page and a link to his Etsy channel where you can buy his patterns. But I made this duffel bag, and it's pretty nice. I've actually used it on a couple of trips and it performed fantastically. But I want to show you, see how it's doing this right here, and then if you've got something in there or if you lay it down, it just kind of squishes, or you know, that won't stay straight. It wants to squish across the top. Same thing. If you took some black Cordura that matched this, and if you put some Welt in there while you're making this project, the stiffness of this will help this duffel bag keep its shape. And I wish I had thought about that when I built it, but I'm sure this isn't the last time I'm going to make this. Tony, watch out. I've got another video coming shortly of me making this bag with some Welt. But anyway, hey, thanks for watching, y'all. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. You know I answer the comments. And y'all have a great rest of the weekend.